get you images that are coming in right now from the Secunderabad railway station, where again you see scores of youth protesting, stopping trains, and this has become largely a rail roko agitation. Many of them out there on the railway tracks chanting slogans, refusing to allow the movement of trains. According to the railways, over 38 trains have been cancelled as a result of this particular agitation, most of them, of course, in Bihar. But it's spreading rapidly and at a worrying pace right now. The government will be taking note of all of this. What is the kind of action they take remains to be seen. But look at how these youngsters, these protesters are gathering right now at railway stations across the country. It's almost like a toolkit right now, because every single place where we're seeing protests, it's the ransacking vandalism of trains, it's railway stations that are being targeted so brazenly. And there's zero security that's been provided at any of these stations. It's clear that the authorities here have been caught completely napping, had no clue that these are the kind of violent agitations that would break out. From Uttar Pradesh to Bihar to now Telangana, protests breaking out across the country. This fire is spreading. Will the government be able to put it out remains the big question, as the opposition is also piling pressure on the government, saying roll back the Agnipath scheme. Priyanka Gandhi has also tweeted saying that the government has been forced to in fact tweak the scheme in a matter of 24 hours, and that shows how much thought they've put behind this particular Agnipath scheme. And that's why the Congress has made it clear that they're for a rollback of the Agnipath scheme. What you're seeing right now is a rail roko being staged at Secunderabad. Hundreds of protesters holding up placards, holding up banners. Some of them who've covered their faces have lathis in their hands. So it's very clear that they have descended there with the intention of causing unrest, with the intention of spreading violence, which by itself is an extremely worrying trend. Right now there have been no reports of casualties, fortunately, but if the administration doesn't do something on a war footing, it's only a matter of time, because this mob is out there very clearly with the intent to unleash violence. That's why they're armed with lathis, they're destroying public property, they're refusing to allow normal life to function, they're trying to cause as much inconvenience as possible. And this is what's playing out right now in Secunderabad. So from Bihar to Uttar Pradesh to now Telangana as well. Scary what's playing out right now in parts of the country. So let's also get you details of what's playing out right now in Haryana. Also, we're getting in details of protests right now. Let's take this across to Fronia. She's joining us live this morning with more details of what's playing out in Secunderabad. Fronia, huge number of people who've gathered there at the Secunderabad railway station. Where are the authorities? Rail roko being staged there. No attempts to clear that out.
Yes, the Agnipath Andolan seems to have spread to Hyderabad. The situation at Secunderabad railway station is very tense right now. The RTC buses outside the railway station have been vandalized by the NSUI students.
Okay, my apologies. Fronia, stay with us. Rajnath Singh, Defence Minister, is currently speaking.
यह उनकी ताजिंदगी के लिए पहचान बन जाती है। पिछले 2 साल से सेना में भर्ती की प्रक्रिया न होने के कारण बहुत से नौजवानों को सेना में भर्ती होने का अवसर नहीं मिला। यह सच्चाई है। इसलिए युवाओं के भविष्य को ध्यान में रखते हुए और उनके प्रति संवेदनशीलता दिखाते हुए प्रधानमंत्री जी के अनुमोदन पर सरकार ने फैसला किया है कि अग्निवीरों की भर्ती की आयु सीमा को इस बार बढ़ाकर 21 से 23 वर्ष कर दिया जाए। यह वन टाइम रिलैक्सेशन दिया गया है। इससे बहुत सारे नौजवानों को अग्निवीर बनने की पात्रता स्वतः मिल जाएगी। और मैं यह भी कहना चाहता हूं कि भर्ती प्रक्रिया कुछ ही दिनों में प्रारंभ होने जा रही है। मैं सभी नौजवानों से अपील करता हूं कि सेना में भर्ती होने की वह तैयारी करें और इसका पूरा लाभ उठाएं। धन्यवाद।
Brief statement there by Defence Minister Rajnath Singh. Even as there are protests happening right now against the Agnipath scheme, the government and the Defence Minister, they're making it clear that they back the scheme completely, and he's essentially put out a message to Agniveers saying that this is a scheme that is for your benefit. This will work for the country. So to continue to stick by this, it's very clear that central government isn't considering any sort of rethink, any sort of review right now. And that message being put out by Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, who is in fact saying that and defending the Agnipath scheme. The opposition has claimed that there's been zero thought that's been put into this particular scheme. That's what's led to these protests. That's what's led to the government also announcing an age waiver. Rajnath Singh also confirming that, saying that at this point in this particular year, as a one-time waiver, the upper age limit has been increased to 23 from 21. It hasn't helped on the ground because you're still seeing these massive protests happening across the country as, in fact, angry army aspirants are staging protests. The BJP is maintaining that these aren't just army aspirants, that the violence is being unleashed by political opponents, by political goons.